Alright, welcome back everybody. Episode 5, we start to put things into our OBS so that people can actually see and hear the things which we are doing on our computer. So, if you just set up everything as we did in the previous episode, then you probably have something in here which is just called something like scene, I think is the name or whatever. Like it has some arbitrary name. But besides that, everything should be looking similar to this. You have like these things over here docked. Everything is empty down here. By the way, if you don't like these things, you can just close them. And if you got rid of them accidentally, just go to docs and you can get them back. Alright? Okay. I prefer having them here. Actually, I don't know yet. I'm gonna play around with that. So the first thing you want to do is you want to add some stuff to your scene. So we're gonna talk about the difference of a scene and a source, and hopefully this will become clear. So the first thing you're gonna do is just our Hello World example. Basically, is because we want to cast Heroes of a Storm, is we're gonna add a game capture. And currently I have Heroes of a Storm open on the other monitor, right? So I'm gonna call this Heroes Game and hit OK. So now we're gonna have to answer a couple of questions here. OBS is asking us. So first one is mode. What kind of window are we actually trying to capture here? It's going to be a specific window, and here we can check, like in the window we can select Heroes of a Storm. Boom, there it is. Your window match priority, I don't want anything else which is similarly named to be shown here. I want it to be Heroes of a Storm and only Heroes of a Storm, so window title must match. Okay, so now there's a decision to make here. We can capture the cursor, or we cannot capture the cursor, and I'm going to show you what the difference means. So if I'm over here and you can see my cursor on Heroes of the Storm. So this is great if you are, for example, streaming your own gameplay. Right, if people want to see like your cool tracer skills or whatever, you would show your cursor, because then people can see what you are actually doing. However, this cursor is super distracting if you are actually casting, because nobody wants to see your cursor while you're casting. It's just in the way. People want to see the action, right? They don't want to see you fiddling around with your cursor. So in that case, if you are streaming, you want to turn the cursor off, and now you can see I can go through the menus here, but you do not see my cursor actually doing these things, right? So since we are setting up for just streaming right now, which probably means you are just streaming your gameplay, I'm gonna keep the cursor on for now. But this is where you set it on and off. Okay? So if you're just showing your gameplay, turn it on. If you're doing a cast, turn it off. So now the next thing we're gonna do is we lock this lock here. Just click it, and that means we cannot accidentally move this source around. If I unlock it, you see, oh, it's suddenly somewhere, right? We don't want that, because we're gonna add more stuff on top of that, and once we start editing these things, we want the Heroes of a Storm in the background not being moved accidentally. Okay, so now in theory this would be it, right? I mean, it's not very exciting. Your stream would not have any sound. It would not have anything else except your monitor showing Heroes of a Storm. But in theory this could be enough. Like, people would not hear you or your game, but in theory you could stream from there. It's probably a little bit boring though. So let's add more things. And we're gonna go and add an image. So hit the plus icon, go to image, and you know, maybe you have your cool logo or avatar or whatever, and you want to show that so that people can recognize you and your stream. You know, doing a little bit of self-branding. So you just open here your logo. You just go to browse and go to a point in your system where your logo is, and then you can keep all these other things unchecked. Just hit OK, and now you have a logo which you can drag around. So since we want this to not be too distracting, I'm just gonna put it here into the corner, and you can change its size. You can also crop it if you hit the, I think it's Alt. Oops, if you hit Alt, you can crop it. If you hit Shift, you can change it without keeping the aspect ratio. Control Z, as usual, undoes things. And if you do not hit Shift, it will scale. It will keep the aspect ratio if you change it, right? Okay. It also snaps to borders of your canvas, which is very nice, because that was something it did not in the past, and it was a pain to get these things right. But once you have it in the position you want it to be, and you have it in the size you want it to be, you can just hit the lock, and now it will not change anymore. Okay, so this is an image, pretty straightforward stuff. Let's add a piece of text to it as well. So you go to text, and let's say this is my name, and then you get this window opened here, and you can, for example, put in your name here. Select some nice font, I don't know, something like this maybe, right, whatever, and you can make all kind of different changes. You can get a background color. If you put the background opacity up, then you have a little bit of a background color here. You can see like how this will look later, and we can do some more things here. Let's put can take a little bit of an outline. Select color. You get a color picker. You can pick from screen. So if I want the outline of this text the same as the shadow of my avatar here, I can pick exactly that color and increase the width of the outline. Then I have something like this. Right, so it mimics a little bit that logo down here, and maybe I want you can add a gradient as well, all this kind of stuff, right? So if I add a gradient, I pick a gradient color. So let's pick the same color here, and now I have a nice gradient. Oh, that's funky. Okay, whatever. You can change the direction and whatnot. All right, enough of that. Let's hit OK. Here it is. Well, actually, the background is not completely opaque. So let's change that. I thought I had it. Oh, did I give? Oh, I probably gave. Oh, here we go. Okay, 100%. Now it is completely opaque. We can put it down here. We can snap it actually to our little avatar over there, and roughly get the size right. Well, actually, I might have just nailed it here. Normally, you will have to fiddle around a little bit. I don't like how far it goes there. So I'm gonna. Oh, that does not work. Okay, but you can. If you press Alt, you can cut it off there a little bit. All right, here we are. If you want to fine-tune this a little bit more, you can actually go to Edit Transform, Edit Transform again, and then you can set the actual size, like height and width of this. So maybe I want this to be 130 pixels high. and I want my logo to also be the same height exactly by the pixel, and it is already 130. So I was pretty close actually when I did by hand. And don't forget to lock everything so that you don't change it accidentally later. Alright. Okay, so now we have an image, we have a text, we have a game capture. So all of that looks pretty nice already. So now let's talk about scenes. So everything we did so far we put into one scene, which is over here, which its name is scene, which is like a really bad name. We should rename it and let's call it heroes, right? Because this is the scene where we show our heroes gameplay. Okay. So now, what if, or actually let's be more specific here. Let's call it heroes gameplay, so that we can differentiate it from heroes casting later. Okay. So, why are there different scenes? Well, let's make a new scene and see what happens. Let's call this one other scene. Alright, it's empty, it's dark. So the first thing you notice is you can switch between these two. And this is by the way, I should have mentioned this at some point. This here in the middle is your preview window. If you would hit start streaming, everything which is being in this window, everything you see here is a preview of what would been sent to the Twitch server, right? So if it's in here, it will be on the stream. So for example, if I change to the other scene, your stream viewers will see only darkness. And if I switch back, they will see heroes gameplay again. So now let's, so that is the main functionality of scenes, is that you can switch in between them. And we're gonna use this extensively. Even if you are only showing Heroes of the Storm, there are some things you need to do to, for example, go from draft to in-game, or to go out of the game and show the map picks which the teams did, right? So these are all different scenes, so we're gonna switch in between those. Okay, so now let's start to put some stuff into our other scene, just really quick. And in this process, I'm gonna explain to you a little bit what is the difference between a source, a duplicated source, and a reference source. So all of these things over here are sources. And we can actually copy them. So if you right-click them and hit copy, or just Control-C, you have now copied the source, and I can plug it in over here. But now I have two options. I can paste it as a reference, or I can paste it as a duplicate. Okay, so let's paste it as a duplicate first. So this is the text from before. And you've noticed that it has a new name. It actually has now the name of this source is my name too. Why is that? Because if I change things here, it will actually not change over here. Alright, these are two different sources now. However, if I take my avatar and I copy this and I paste this as a reference instead, you see it does not change the name of it. So now if I go and change this image, maybe I want to be a little bit more light. So I convert this, invert the image into a different alternative version. Now if I go back to our Heroes gameplay scene, although I did not touch this, I did not even unlock it, it changed, right? Because all the changes are being, this is the same object. If I change it, it doesn't matter where I change it, it will be changed everywhere where it appears, because it's the same thing. This, however, was a copy, a duplicate of that source over here. Okay, so I can also change this over here again and change it back, and it will affect all scenes where this is being used. Alright, so this is the difference between pasting as reference or pasting as duplicate. And this is actually super useful, right? Sometimes you might think this is annoying because you used the wrong thing and now you have to like paste it again, and you're wondering why things are changing when they should not be changing. That's probably the reason why that is. Okay, so that is that. So now let's actually go and take our heroes game and copy that source. You can copy everything and paste that as a reference. This we can only paste as a reference, right? So let's paste it in here as well. Or even better, let's go and do something new here. The other scene should be our other display, right? So I'm gonna say this is just display capture is fine. Maybe I'd call it left monitor, because that is where my left monitor is, and there you can see there's actually the document I was talking about and all the things I'm currently looking at to make this episodes happen. And I'm okay with that. You can check if you want to show the cursor or not on that monitor, and I'm gonna just lock that. And now wait a second, where is our avatar and where is the name we had been seeing before? Well, the order of these things, how they are in the source menu, actually matter. So the left monitor, that source is currently on top of avatar and my name too, of these two other sources. So that means it's literally on top of these other things in our canvas as well. So we need to actually bring these guys up so that they can be seen again. And now on this monitor I actually see that these are not matching perfectly, so something has cheated me here, but whatever, we're gonna keep it like it is. Alright, so now we can change between these two things, between these two scenes, right? Okay, so that is useful if as I said, if you're doing casting and you want to change from one piece of information to the next. So next, I said already there's no audio here. Like if you would stream this, your viewers would hear absolutely nothing. That's of course not what you want. So before we were in the settings and we said that everything should be disabled, and that is good. It just means that we have to add these things manually now. And this is what we're gonna do next in the next episode.